Strange Fruit was a song sung by Billie Holiday, which made its premiere in 1937 on the Cafe Society stage in New York. It was originally written by Abel Meerpohl, a Jewish teacher in New York, who wrote the song in response to a picture he saw in the news of two lynched African-American boys in Indiana in 1930. At the time, America was slowly coming out of the Great Depression and was also on a decline of public lynching, even though they were still in high occurrences. According to the Equal Justice Reports done in 2015 on an article, Lynching in America, there was reportedly more than 4,000 Black people publicly murdered in the United States between 1877 and 1950. It was also estimated in the 1930s, the age of the Great Depression, that out of the American population, 17% of Americans were white that were unemployed and 38% were Black. Lynching was a part of the further exclusion of these races, and it was using a specific type of lynching, spectacle lynching, that Strange Fruit caused a stirring controversy. Now you may ask, what is spectacle lynching? Spectacle lynching was a specific style of lynching that was made to completely dehumanize its victims using extreme public torture. The lynching mob would begin its ritual by parading the body of the victim around town to show off to others who wished to see. And then it would follow in notorious rituals such as the dousing of hot oil onto the conscious body and setting them aflame, to the dragging of the body through the streets and the repeated beating of the body to mush. And that is just to name a few. Afterwards, pictures were to be taken and shared with those who were absent to reminisce on the proud work that they had done. While many people at the time did not see anything wrong with this ritual, as it had become such a normality that even seeing it in the newspapers felt like just another day, others, such as Black activists, would use the images to truthfully depict what lynching was, a race issue. The song goes as follows. Southern trees bearing a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh, then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crow to pluck, for the rain to wither, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the trees to drop. Here is a strange and bitter crop. As an African American, I had many questions about this piece, especially since growing up, this song was not a song that was brought to my attention or even significant until recently. John M. Carvalho asked the question in his essay, Strange Fruit, Music Between Violence and Death. Must music be a part, even an essential part of that violence? Why and how finally has that violence and that music been turned especially against the bodies and souls of Black folks and women? In this essay, he concludes on that music, especially Strange Fruit, reminds us of the flaws within our humanity. In Uncomfortable Art and American Trauma, reconsidering Dewey's unity thesis, Bethany Henning argues that Strange Fruit was what John Dewey classifies as an aesthetic of sorrow because it offers no solution. Through song, it is emblematic of a loss that cannot be covered, a violent erasure that takes place of history. For my essay, I chose to use narrative criticism as the analysis of choice because this allowed for me to really delve into the story to find out what exactly or who exactly was Billie's audience, the setting, the temporal relations, more about the narrator, and the structure. Most of her audience was integrated as Cafe Society was one place that Black and white could actually coexist. So knowing that, what was Holliday's intention for singing this song every night in the same fashion until the 1950s? In my essay, I argue that using imagery, musical notation, and tone, and through performance ritual, she utilizes certain rhetorical strategies in order to move the audience and allow them to see a shared experience through a different perspective. The question that drove my research was this artifact powerful enough to really push forward the civil rights movement? Did it push only to invoke an emotional response at that time? Or did it have enough of an effect that propelled the movement forward or further than it would have gone without this? While this piece is so well known in the academic world, what factors have been set in place that have allowed it to not be well known mainstream, aside from being remixed and sampled in songs that may have no idea the true meaning of the blood on the leaves? The reason why this matters is because it allows us to understand the world in which we live in today. Many of the same cultural and systematic issues that were occurring then are occurring now. So why is this song not more significant within not only Black culture, but American culture? If this is a song that made Billie Holiday popular, why does it feel censored now more than ever?